Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you. You got it, Rob. Who enjoyed that feedback? Good to have you here. Well, we got some Vikings fans running around here. We got a lot of Packers, Colts. Who's ready for this NFL draft, huh? Awesome. Hey, thank you all for joining us. We welcome you to the Triple Option and the Throwbacks crossover presented by our great partners at Nissan. We are live from the Draft House here in beautiful Green Bay, iconic Lambo Field right here behind us. Take adventure to new heights in the all-new 2025 Nissan Armada. Head over to nissanusa.com/Armada to learn more. You see the Armada in the front yard of this beautiful house. Take a look at it. All right, so first time ever, guys, our two podcasts are crossing over live. Triple Option, Throwbacks. We're here with you for the next 2 days, so come on back tomorrow as well. Plenty of food and beverage everywhere. Again, you can see this live on YouTube, on X, on Facebook. Just go to the Triple Option or the Throwbacks handle. Again, my name is Rob Stone. Who's ready to meet the rest of the guests here, right? We ready? All right, we're going to need a little bit better than that. Who's ready to meet our co-host, huh? There we go, Green Bay. That's what we're talking about. All right, we got any Michigan football fans out there? All right, get ready to boo. All right, well, let's see. Hold on. OH! All right, I think Michigan's going to win this one. He is. Let's go, Badgers. There we go. Play to the home crowd, Rob. Play to the home crowd. You should know better than that. He is a three-time national champion head coach. He has sent multiple first-round picks to the NFL, and he is a 2025 College Football Hall of Fame inductee. He is the Urban Meyer. Give him the OH, Coach. Give him the OH. There's a few. There we go. There we go. Urban Meyer. All right. Hold on. Luke Fickle heat coming in.
You just gave me one of those.
I thought we were in the Midwest. I thought this is like everybody's come together with cheese curds and beer and love and hugs. All right, we'll talk about that after the show. All right, let's bring on our second co-host. He is a national champion from the University of Alabama. He is a Heisman Trophy winner, a first-round pick, a former Pro Bowler. He is Deuce Mark Ingram II. What's up, baby? All right. Man, he smells as good as he looks, everybody. Just so you know that. It's the truth. Show him the zippers on the back of the pants. I don't understand. This is the Midwest look, right? The Midwest approves of this? I don't know what the hell he's doing either. I don't get it either. All right. This man goes by many names. He's got a ton of talents. He is an actor. He is a writer. He is a producer. He is a director. He's a gopher. He is a production assistant. He does it all. You might know him as Joe Proctor. Maybe you know him better as Turtle. He is a New York sports super fan. He is also the proud recipient of a recent colonoscopy, and he's happy to tell you all about it in great detail. He is Jerry Ferrara. You're welcome. Welcome. Had to get that in. All right, one more to go. You guys ready? We already have one Heisman Trophy winner. We already have two national champs. We're going to add to both of it. So a Heisman Trophy winner from the University of Southern California. Fight on. He is a former All-American. He is a college football Hall of Famer. So here at the Nissan Draft House, with the 10th overall pick, we select from USC, Matt Leinart. He's got the suit, people. Hold on. The original hat.
This is what we used to wear back in the day in 2006. Mark, what do you think, Mark?
I like it.
Hold on, turn on. The
fresh.
camera's got to see it. What do we do with this button, Midwest? Does anybody know?
Who has 4 buttons anymore? Nobody, right? What do you guys think? Hey, this is PG.
She's spicy. She is spicy. All right.
It's a good look.
It's really not a good look, but
Set, Matthew, let's talk. All right, so here we are. Thank you. This is like more material. This could clothe my entire family. All right, here we are. Iconic Lambo Field. You guys know this place well.
You hear Rob?
Some of us have never been here before. For Jerry, Coach, and myself, this is our first time. But, Mark, you started your NFL career right there.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did, man. My first NFL game was the NFL kickoff, the kickoff, whatever, on Thursday. Yep. And it was right here in Lambeau, man. And, yes, they did win. yeah, they won. It was a close game. And we had a goal line stand, Stoner. So it's like on the 1 yard line, last play of the game, right? And of course we lined everybody up. Coach, what did you say? We lined everybody up.
22 people within 3 yards of the ball.
We lined everybody up, and their D line just torpedoes the O line, and then the linebackers just jump over the top, and I'm just get the ball, and there's just
AJ Hawk.
green jerseys just falling on me. And so that was the dream start to my NFL career.
Do you remember 2017, though, as a Saint?
Yeah, I tapped that ass that time. Yeah, and I did a Lambo leap. I'm sorry.
Did you?
Yeah, I found a Saints fan, did a Lambo leap, turned up in the. They weren't happy with me that day. I had my career game against the Packers. Sunday night, they was in New Orleans, hung up 172 on them, a couple TDs, hit the beanie winnie on them in the end zone, so. Man, but I love the Packers, man. They fans always was.
How can you not like Green Bay?
Their fans was
right?
always so respectable and kind.
Except for that one right there.
Where?
Her. Yeah.
She's a troublemaker.
Security's got her eye.
All right, we keep an eye on her. No,
yeah. Matthew, you
She
played
threw
here
the
as well.
bomb right at me. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Green Bay's kind of has a special place in my heart. It's actually my first time back since 2006. So I was a rookie in Arizona, and we played Green Bay late October. My oldest son, who's now 18, was born that same week. So he was born, I think, on a Monday. Tuesday's an off day in the NFL. So I missed the first couple of days of practice to go fly back home to L.A. to be there for the birth of my firstborn. And that week we were on the road in Green Bay playing against Brett Favre and the Packers, who was one of my idols growing up as a quarterback. So we lost 31-14, got our butts kicked. We weren't very good that year. But to play there, my family went. I threw a touchdown in that game. It was pretty cool. This is my first time back in 19 years. And it will always hold a special heart because my son was born that week, which is cool, and I got to play against my idol. So it's great to be back.
It would also, you just reminded me because my dad actually played with Brett Favre here. So I remember having being a little dude with a cheese head, watching my dad come in here in Lambeau and play with Brett Favre, and he used to tell me he used to catch passes and his fingers would be all jacked up from Brett Favre. But
we also Green Bay came to Arizona a lot in the playoffs. I'm sure the Packers fans remember the Rodgers, the playoff games that we won. I think the year we went to the Super Bowl, Green Bay came to us. We beat them on a crazy game. They came to us a couple times in the playoffs, but only one time here in my career. But it's great to be back.
So real quick, the three of us, this is our first time here in Green Bay, first time looking at Lambeau, and there's just a handful, really, Jerry, of iconic sporting venues in this country. Madison Square Garden, certainly one of them. For football, it's maybe Soldier Field, but it's definitely this place.
Yeah, when we pulled up here, we were even riding over together, and the minute we just saw the stadium, the sign, you just have to take a picture of it. Sadly for me, one of my fondest memories, I don't want to get booed here, but is when Coach Coughlin's cheeks froze. Giants, Packers, to get to this. Yeah, sorry, I know, you can boo. It's fine. But it's really cool to be here, and what a great place to have the draft.
Agreed.
I mean, how excited are the fans for the draft to be here in Green Bay, right? It's freaking awesome. It's so awesome.
Great show out in Detroit
Jerry,
last year,
yeah.
Pittsburgh next
Jerry,
year.
did you see the Lambo flying in, though, on the airplane?
I did not, no.
Bro, when you see it flying in, that's when you're like, oh, yeah, that's sexy.
Coach, you've been in some iconic venues for sure.
Yeah, I was sitting next to Jerry. We walk in, I see Lambeau Field, but I'm old school. I remember Vince Lombardi, Bart Starr, and that was my era. What were you doing when Vince Lombardi was coaching?
Huh?
For
Who?
Green Bay.
What? I remember the Magic
So
Band.
I'm a big fan. Thanks for having us, and this is an iconic place. You know what's really cool? This is the only place that a small market can still dominate the big market. And that's a great appreciation for so many people to watch.
This community is certainly amazing and unique. All right, so here it is. It's draft day, right? 2025 draft. Mark, your memories from when you were drafted in the first round by the Saints?
Man, I remember being in the green room for a lot longer than I had wanted to be. You know what I mean?
Me too.
It's all relative, right? Like, you know, there's people who got drafted 6th, 7th round, but like when you're there in New York in the green room and like the whole room is clearing out, you're still the only one basically almost still in the room. It's kind of like discouraging.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Humbling.
So, no, but I remember being there with all my loved ones, obviously with my mom, my sisters, my grandma. I had like Coach Saban was there. Even Julio got picked like number 6, and like he came back and sat with me. So I just remember being around people who loved me and supported me, and obviously having the opportunity to go and achieve my dream of playing in the NFL. So great day, great memories. But like I said earlier, like that's really the start. You know what I mean? Just because you get drafted doesn't mean you've made it. You still have to go prove yourself, why they picked you, in order to be able to go have a successful career in the NFL. So amazing blessings, great memories. I remember my suit, you know what I mean? I think my suit was a little bit bigger than yours.
Pull up a picture of that
I look
suit.
like a bishop, you know what I mean? Like Deacon Jones, like, you know what I mean? Like all the suits a little bit more fitted now. Mine was baggy back then, but yeah, I was clean though. I was iced out, had the iced out watch, you know, I was fresh. So
You're still iced
Yeah,
out.
I was
my
gonna
friend.
say,
You're
that- nothing's
you're
changed
extra
in
iced out
12
as
years.
well.
just the quality is a little better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Coach, your memories with Jacksonville and what draft day was for you as a head coach.
Not great memories getting our ass kicked in, but
Oh, snap.
I've been on both sides.
Let it all out, Coach. Just let
Both
the
sides
emotions
of the
out.
draft, watching our college guys' lives get changed.
Yeah.
And I remember the one year, I think we had 5 or 6 guys go in the first round. But when it was a game change. It was a generational talent. I still believe he'll be a Hall of Famer someday. I know it's not a story, but Trevor Lawrence was a no-brainer. You look at every quality that you look for in a quarterback, and it was the same year Zach Wilson was coming out. I think Trey Lance was coming out. We did our due diligence. We did our work, but that was a no-brainer. We also had a pick late in the first, and that was a lot of time spent. And that's where Jimmy Johnson put together, they still use it to this day, the draft value. And Matt and Mark, what you see is the top of the draft the value is unbelievable. Yeah. What you can get from that. And I'm curious what's going to happen this year because there's a lot of conversation about is the top of the draft that high. For us, no-brainer. Trevor Lawrence, take him. But then when you start getting in the back half of the first round, the valuation drops dramatically, and you can get sometimes 3 players in that middle to late first round for that first pick. Yeah. So we picked Trevor Etienne, and he was tremendous. And he got hurt for our first year, but we spent more time on the back half of the first round than the first pick.
Do you remember Coach was watching video of Trevor Lawrence, your first stint on Big Noon Kickoff, and we were doing some demos of Lawrence and what he was doing on the collegiate level, and I could hear it in Coach's voice, like, oh, man, this guy can run. Like,
Everything.
you were loving his legs.
Yeah, he's 6, what is he, 6'6", he's a 4.44, he's a legit 4.4. He's under 4.5, great release, and I know it hasn't gone great, but he's still good. Yeah. I still think once they get the surrounding cast and everything, he'll be an all-pro for a long time.
The situation you're in has so much to do with the success you have, you know, so.
Jerry, as a New York guy, what does the draft mean to you? How does it resonate?
Well, I kind of speak on behalf of the fans where I think it's awesome to hear these stories, right? Because you're seeing young people get this amazing start in their career. But then as a fan, it's always the chance of hope, right? Regardless of where your team is, if you weren't in the Super Bowl or if you weren't even a playoff team, it's a sign of hope that one of these young players is going to come in and change the face of everything for a franchise that we love. So that's how I always looked at the draft. The draft means hope. Hope for the young guys coming in to have amazing careers, and hope for the fans that player will come in like maybe a great pass rusher at number 3 to change the future of the team. So
what do you guys think of the draft hitting the road? Right, it used to always be in New York City.
Roger Goodell. Now, I didn't realize this. I think New York kind of pushed them out, as someone was saying the other day at dinner. That's one of the greatest things to spread the wealth. I was at Ohio State the year after we won the title, and I went to Chicago, and that's the first time I saw hundreds of thousands of people for the draft. So I think it's been a great boom it's become a show.
Yeah. It is. That's why we're here, right? We're here on the road. Mark, what's something that you're really looking forward to tonight with the round 1 coming down?
Man, I'm a running back, man. So just, I think Ashton Jeanty, man, just the season he had, it was unbelievable. You talk about the season he had, the yards after contact he had, Stone. He had 1,900 yards after contact. Like, that's a huge season for anybody. That's more yards than I ran for in my Heisman year. Like, you know what I mean? So, like, when you put that in perspective, and over 164 tackles he broke. So, like, I think he's going to translate great to the NFL. I think he can, as every down back who can run inside, run outside, catch the football, pick up pass protection. I saw him do it all when we watched these games on film. So, I love that the running back is having a resurgence. We saw what Saquon was able to do for, the Eagles. Obviously, Green Bay has a great runner in Josh Jacobs. So the running back is still, position one. You know what I mean? Position A. You feel me?
Why do you think teams got away from the running back? Why did the priority get lessened at some point?
I think
I don't get that.
It was the Todd Gurley deal. Todd Gurley who was great, got paid all that money that year, got hurt, and then it was just like teams were like, why are we going to pay these guys 40, 50 million and then you started to see second, third round, fourth round draft picks have the same type of success. So it was I'm so pumped up because the running backs are making a comeback. They're integral part of an offense, and you see what Detroit's doing, Jahmyr Gibbs and Montgomery. You see Ashton Jeanty. This is the deepest running back class probably Mark in a long time. Yeah. But I think we're seeing a premium back on what Saquon did. Bijan Robinson was drafted in the top 5, I think, a couple of years ago. Yep. He's a star. So I'm fired up, too, to see. Yep. I think someone might make a play for Jeanty in the top 5. I'm not sure who that's going to be, but someone's going to maybe come up and get him.
Yes, sir.
I think as far as the draft for me today, the obvious is just Shedeur Sanders in this quarter. For what is kind of a quiet draft as far as, like, there's not – I think we all assume Cam Ward's going number 1, but outside of that, it's like there's not a ton of quarterbacks being talked about. That's what's dominated the draft even last year, 6 first-round quarterbacks, which was a record. So I think there's going to be a splash trade somewhere to trade up and get somebody. I think that's going to happen. I think we might see some movement from the second round coming back into the first. And after the first 2 picks,
it's wide open.
It's the Giants could be chalk. They could take maybe Abdul Carter, Travis Hunter, but if they don't, and what happens with that pick could dictate the rest of the draft in the first round.
What I'm looking forward to, and this is I really want the crowd to think about this, is that teams that pick early in the draft obviously are not very good. So one player a lot of times can't flip a organization right away. On this Jimmy Johnson chart, and if for the fans that don't know, Jimmy Johnson, obviously great coach, Super Bowl winner at the Cowboys, put together this chart years ago. NFL still uses it as we speak. So 3,000 point value system for the first player picked. As you get to the bottom of the first round, it's 600. That means the GMs that use this and the head coaches and talk about trades, you could potentially get 4 first-round draft picks by flipping the first pick or the second pick.
It's tempting. Why not?
Yeah. If it's Trevor Lawrence, no, don't do it. He's a generational. Is Cam Ward a generational? Is Carter a generational? Is Travis Hunter? All these guys. If not, I'm trading it. I'm going to go get 5 first-rounders to build my organization. Because the one guy, if he's not a generational, it's not going to flip your team.
Yeah. It's going to hurt.
Does that make sense?
It's going to hurt your team.
And that's the value system that I think people overlook, and this sits on the desk of the GM on draft day. How cool is that? Yeah. And you sit there and stare at it as you're going through the draft.
Little inside info from Coach Meyer this morning. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think we're going to see some moving and some shaking. Again, this is the Triple Option. This is the Throwbacks coming together live from Green Bay, Wisconsin, right outside of, you see it right there, Lambo Field here. Plenty more to come. We're here for about another hour and change, live on YouTube, live on X, live on Facebook. And coming up next, the crowd is going to like this one. We've got a Green Bay Packer legend. We're going to let him tote the rock a little bit and join us
Mark's
here
old
on
teammate.
the live presentation from Green Bay. Quick break. We'll be right back in a moment.
My boy.
Welcome back to the Draft House presented by Nissan. All right, everybody here live with us in Green Bay, listen up. If you are ready to take on the off-road There's only one ride built for it, the all-new 2025 Nissan Armada.
Yeah, there's so much this beast can do, guys. No matter the terrain, the mountains, the beach, off-roading, it's got up to 8,500 pounds of towing capacity.
How many pounds? How many?
8,500
feels like a lot.
pounds, Rob Stone. Maybe you're hauling a jet ski up to the lake house. Maybe you're bringing your boat to the beach. Remember I used to have a boat, Rob?
I do remember the boat.
You can tow heavy gear, haul your toys, or tackle the toughest off-road terrain. Nothing's out of reach.
Yeah, it's also got tons of space on the interior. I got a bunch of kids, so whether you're taking them to their 15 million activities or I'm a big golfer, throw 4 or 5 golf bags in the back seat. You got tons of room for it with the guys. Also, twin-turbo V6 engine, so it's good for whatever you really want to throw at it.
Power, performance, and rugged toughness. It's like being behind the wheel of your own offensive line.
I'm telling you, this is the one. Get ready to adventure bigger in the all-new Nissan Armada.
Let's go.
Hey, man, we were all in it earlier today right there in the front yard. It's impressive, man. It's
Yeah.
swallowed. It swallowed us all.
I feel like we need to get a couple of those.
You could fit a fullback in there,
Right? Oh, speaking
hit
of,
a
welcome back
fullback
to the
in there.
Triple Option and the Throwback crossover presented by Nissan here right outside Lambeau Field. Who's ready to start not booing but cooing? All right, we ready for this?
Cooing.
Are we ready for this?
Not
Here we go.
cooing,
We're bringing in former Green Bay Pro Bowler,
That's awesome.
former Green Bay Super Bowl champion, the pride of Shippensburg University. Let's go, Raiders. He is John Kuhn. Welcome, baby. Former teammate of Mark Ingram as well.
What is up? This is awesome. Man, the NFL draft, being in Green Bay, it's something that when I came here in 2007, I never imagined we'd see this day. This was before Titletown. There was still a Kmart and a little shopping center down there. And they built this immaculate Titletown all with this vision in mind to have an NFL draft in this city, in this community, in this state. And I can tell you what, I've been all around last night and this morning, and Wisconsin is showing up big at this draft. Showing up big.
A quick estimate, how many pounds of cheese curds have you digested through your career?
I don't know. I don't know, Rob.
They're so good. They're
we're
so
not putting
tasty.
Number on it, Rob.
Yeah, we don't count calories up here in Wisconsin. Not at the fullback position, right? We weigh in, and if we make weight, then we good. That's all we worry about.
I'm going to let these guys jump in a second, but I'm always fascinated by the culture in Green Bay. So as a player, you get drafted, and you're dropped into a neighborhood, into a community. Like, where do these guys live? How do they acclimate? What do they do? Are they here year-round? How does it work as a player for the Packers?
You know, it's like every other NFL.
Hello.
No, we'll get it back. Don't worry.
All right, we lost. Deuce, give him your headset real fast. Hold on. Quick, we're going to do a trade. It's the draft. It's a first trade.
Wow, it is the first trade.
You know, we can do that.
There we go.
Because Mark used to share touchdowns with me back in the day as well. But I'll be honest with you, it's like any other NFL city, except it's got its own little flavor here in Green Bay. Guys, you know, in every other NFL city, guys don't just live right by the stadium, right? So there's little communities outside, you know, Howard, De Pere, that guys can go into. Young guys normally start off with apartment buildings before they upgrade into houses and start having families. But it's no different. And a lot of these guys, man, there's no better place to start your NFL career than in Green Bay, Wisconsin. You got a team and a city giving you every advantage to be successful. This facility is top end in the NFL, and then the number of distractions are limited, although you can find them in Green Bay. You can still go out there and do some stuff, but distractions are limited, and it's wholesome. These guys, listen, these fans are the best fans in professional sports. I believe it. Even though I played on a couple other teams and I love those fan bases, this group has a 100,000 person wait list for season tickets. Find that somewhere else. Find that somewhere else.
Hey, John, in this world of big markets, and this is Enigma, Green Bay, how in the world does they change coaches, they change quarterbacks, and they win. They win. They win. Why? What is the secret sauce here in Green Bay?
Well, honestly, I do. I just think it's one of those, well, the quarterback part helps.
Yep.
When you go 3 in a row the way that the Green Bay Packers did, it helps a lot. So we all know, and we'll talk about some draft picks, and quarterback's the most important position. When you go from a Brett Favre to an Aaron Rodgers to a Jordan Love, that helps a lot. But really what it is when you walk in here the very first day as a player, and it doesn't matter if you're drafted here, if you're traded here, if you come here as a free agent, you see the history that this place has. You see the demands that's put on you as a player and what is required of you and expected of you when you play here, and not just by this organization, but by these people, by the city, by the people, and by the owners.
All right, he's working. We're back. Can you hear me? Lambo leaps, memories. Obviously, had a great career here. Played with some of the greats. What is your fondest memory as a Green Bay Packer?
Your failed Lambo leap.
And also, yes, apparently he had a failed Lambo leap that we want you to talk. We want you to talk about the failed Lambo leap, but also just your fondest memory of being a Green Bay Packer.
You know, winning the Super Bowl is the best. It's the absolute best. Doing it against the team that cut me 3 years in a row in the Pittsburgh Steelers, that was even better.
Yeah.
That's more of a personal, feel good. But I would say winning the George Halas Trophy in Chicago after the NFC Championship game, taking their previous owner's trophy home with us and bringing it back to Lambeau Field to go to the Super Bowl, the sweetest, because we had such a great team that year, and Chicago was just in the thorn in our side with Urlacher and that great offense that they had down there. So beating them at their place to win the NFC Championship probably, but we've had great success in Chicago. We really have. We won a game down there in 2013, 4th and 8 from the 48-yard line with about 40 seconds left, and we pulled an improbable Hail Mary to Randall Cobb to score a touchdown. So we've had a lot of success down there, but I would say the NFC Championship is my favorite.
I love this because you're a fullback, man. An old school football, I formation. You have a fullback. I played with Owen Schmidt. I played with some of the old, just crazy fullbacks, and obviously you fit that mold, and I have so much respect for you guys. What the fullback position now, obviously offenses and everything has changed. What are your thoughts on that? And what is just like, kind of take the fans through just what it was like. Like, you are literally lead blocking for guys. You don't get a lot of glory or grace, but you are as important as an offensive lineman. Talk a little bit about just the fullback position and where you think it's going to go. Maybe it's coming back. I don't know.
Well, so when I first got in the NFL, it was all lead and power,
Yep.
right? A little bit of counter BIM, but in all honesty, it evolved and it started going outside zone, guys that could catch the passes in the flat, do the little belly thing, and still lead block. You had to be able to play special teams at all times as well. And by the time I was done playing, the linebacker sizes themselves have shrunk because they went from taking on ISOs and taking on powers to having now cover people into space. So you had to change during my time. You had to change from really being that battering ram to having some finesse while still being physical. I don't think that's changed very much since then, other than the NFL has decided we're going to potentially eliminate a spot and we're going to call it the BB. And I see that in a lot of playbooks now. It's the BB. It's no longer a fullback. It's no longer a tight end. It's called the blocking back. And, Matt, just as good as anybody, you can line a fullback up and there's an F in every position. Even if it's 5 wide, there's an F on that field. So the players are there. They just might not be called the fullback.
You come in on the work week on Monday. Who's the top 3 or 4 defensive players in your career just when you're getting ready to watch that film saying, damn, I got blocked that dude?
I would say Lance Briggs is number 1. Absolutely.
He was a dog.
Lance Briggs was so nasty, and him and Urlacher together, I think will go down to me as the greatest 1-2 combo. Now Navarro Bowman and Pat Willis will have something to say about that because they were outstanding as well. But, man, those two down in Chicago were both great. The 2 I named in San Francisco were fantastic. Bobby Wagner, I got to play a lot against Bobby early in his career, and he's still doing the damn thing. Still doing the damn thing. So I would say some combination of those 4 or 5 guys that I just named are the ones that I come in and I go, I'm going to earn my money this week.
Yeah.
All right, I got to do it. I feel like you're the perfect person to ask. And I think in this scenario, we usually don't let the person use themselves, but I think you could use yourself here.
Okay.
Mount Rushmore of fullbacks.
Okay.
And by the way, you should be on there, so feel free to put yourself on there. We usually don't allow that, but
should he be on the list, guys?
So there you go. 3 spots to fill.
These guys are awesome. Well, I'll be honest. I know. Now, here's a quick question. Jim Brown and Jim Taylor were both listed as fullbacks. Do you guys consider them fullbacks?
No.
No.
Anybody out there?
No.
Okay, so we'll keep them out then. But I mean, hey, historically, and I know a lot of history.
It's your
from
list.
playing
You
here.
do it how you want. It's your
All right,
list.
I'll go all stot
Yes.
because listen.
A-Train.
There was a time in the 90s when kids actually said, I want to play fullback because of Mike Allstott. So Mike Allstott.
He had the
By the way,
big
where
old,
did he
he had
get
the
those
big old
shoulder
neck. Yeah, the
pads?
shoulder
They were
pads.
from
insane.
Purdue. He learned in Purdue. The bigger he looked,
He
the
carried
Big
the
Ten
ball
guys
out
were
there.
like,
It worked.
no,
It
not
worked.
good. So Mike Allstott, number one there. Lorenzo
Yeah.
Neal,
Yeah.
because he's just an outstanding guy. 20 years at the fullback position. Are you kidding? Might have been 19, but he's up there. Lorenzo Neal. I would have to do, and this some people may not remember this guy, Sam Gash. He was an absolute maniac. He was a maniac fullback when he was playing. And then, man, who else am I going to throw up there as a fourth one?
You. Kuhn.
You know what? Okay.
Oh,
He
Rathman?
named a good one, Tom Rathman.
Yeah.
But here's one better for you, Larry Centers, because he was
Oh,
the
yeah.
first fullback to catch 100 passes in a season. When you talk about the position getting versatile and having to do different things, Larry Centers was the guy who made that happen.
I'm not trying to make light of a situation, but I'm curious. Is there a play in your career that you don't remember, but you hear about a lot as a fullback?
No, luckily, no, I did not have diagnosed concussions. I did have one ding down in Atlanta. We beat the brakes off of them in the 2010 playoffs. And my second touchdown in the game, I got hit on the side, and things were kind of. Do you remember the knockout game that you used to have on PlayStation?
Oh, yeah.
When you got knocked down, you had to make the two screens like superimposed. I had a little bit of that going on.
Some
while I
smelling
was
salts.
while I was on one knee, and then I got up and I came to the sideline. And back then, the game was so cool. I just said to Doc McKenzie, he said, okay, we're going to check you out. And I said, just a stinger. Just a stinger, Doc. And he goes, John, I know it's just a stinger, but we're up 28. You're probably going to sit the rest of this one out.
It's a good decision. Good decision on his part. Let's talk about the draft overall. Maddie, I'm going to start with you. Is Cam Ward locked and loaded at number one going to the Titans?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. It's such an interesting quarterback draft class compared to last year, right? And 6 guys in the first round, and all 6 of those, because we saw Penix kind of late in the season take over, all really good. Like, all showed tons of promise, are going to have great careers probably. This year it's a little bit different. I think Cam Ward is for sure has the highest ceiling of all these quarterbacks. He started at 3 different universities in college. He's a tremendous athlete. Has all the physical traits. I think there's a big gap between 1 and 2. And 2, we might not know who that is. It could be Shedeur, it could be Jackson Dart. But I think the Titans, and Coach knows this, he just talked about it. He picked Trevor Lawrence number 1. I think when you believe in a guy, you're throwing all the money at there's a belief. And hopefully this is the guy that can change the organization in Tennessee. They've missed on a couple quarterbacks recently. They need probably a lot more help, too, than getting that. But if they believe Cam Ward is the guy that can change the franchise, that's who they're going to pick today. I'd be shocked if they don't.
Unless they trade down and get some quantity.
Cam Ward, to me, is a big-time prospect that could be that guy.
See, do we not think anything crazy is going to happen? Do we think it's going to go chalk and it's going to be
Not
what
at
we've
one.
all
I don't
heard
think
about?
anything at one.
But you just got to look at it like there's quite a few teams that need help and players and a quarterback as well. So I think you might see other teams try to get into the first round.
I want to ask, is Cam Ward a generational talent? I know it's a simple question, very complicated, because if he's not, you got to trade that pick away, man. You got to go get your team right. Is he a it's a yes or no. Is he a generational?
I think all that matters.
You have to be.
All that matters, Coach, is what those guys think in that room and making the pick. If they think he's a generational player, then that's who they're going to take. I mean, we've watched film. I mean, he's dynamic. He can run. He can throw.
Art.
Yeah, but gosh, I mean, how many first round? I mean, gosh, I was one of them 15 years ago. But how many guys just don't ever make it to what you help as a number 1 draft pick? So. To your question, the jury is out, but all that matters is what they believe in that room, and that's what we're hearing.
Mark, you interviewed Cam last season as part of Big Noon Kickoff. What were your takeaways from him as a human being and as a talent?
That's with him. Just what he had been able to go through. He had no stars coming out of high school. He went to Incarnate Word, then he goes to Wazoo, then he goes to Miami. So you see this progression of a guy who refuses to be denied, right? And when you have a guy that has that kind of mindset and that kind of ability to overcome adversity, that's someone who you want leading your team. Then you turn on the film. Miami probably wins 4 games if Cam Ward is not their quarterback. So I think he's a dynamic player. I think he has a good arm. I think he has a good mindset. Now, leadership and all that, being able to lead grown men in the locker room, that's to be seen. But I came away extremely impressed with him. He's very rooted in his family. We saw him last night at dinner, had his whole family with him. So I came away extremely impressed when I was able to have that interview with him.
I want to ask John. John, were you part of a rebuild? And if
Well,
you
yes.
are,
yes, one time, 2016. Well, I guess you could say 2008 with Aaron Rodgers' first year as a starting quarterback was somewhat of a rebuild, even though we had just gone to the NFC Championship the year before with Brett Favre. So, yes, to some extent, I was part of rebuild.
So would you, if you're sitting in that war room, would you be on a? Because I was. I'd rather take. Well, once again, a generational talent. I'd rather get me 4 or 5 that I know are going to be starters and then projected guys that you can plug in and play. Because one guy, unless he's that good, is not going to flip it.
It's not going to flip you to the top of the AFC. Can it flip you to much better than what you were last year? Can it flip you to 9-8? Can it flip you to the 7th seed in the playoffs? What I found in the NFL to be true is that an average quarterback gives you a chance of winning, right? So you need a guy. He doesn't need to be, per se, generational to flip you from 4 wins to 9 wins. I think an average quarterback, and I think Cam Ward is better than an average quarterback.
How has Green Bay been able to do it over the last couple quarterbacks in franchise history? Not getting the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pick, doing it late in the first round or somewhere else.
They tell you same thing with houses. Don't buy a house when you need a house, right? Because then you're going to be pressured into spending some money on some stuff that you don't necessarily need. When you buy when you buy a quarterback, when you draft a quarterback, before anybody even suspects you, people were looking in 2005 when Aaron Rodgers got drafted and saying, okay, well he's probably seeing Aaron drop in the draft and probably never believed the Packers. And then they were sitting there watching again, and people probably never imagined that the Packers were going to trade up in 2020 to get Jordan Love. But you know what? They did it both times because they did their due diligence. They did believe that they were generational. They already had their plan for that season and maybe even other seasons going forward. And they said, this guy is the guy that we can build 15 years after the next 2.
You played. Well, Rodgers sat for 4 years, right? So 3 or 4 years behind Brett. Got to learn, and that was sort of kind of how it was with quarterbacks in that era. It's like you sat, you learned. I sat a little bit behind Kurt Warner, and then now we're seeing all these guys just get thrust into play right away, day one. What do you think? Because you've been in a million huddles, years and years of huddles, and young quarterbacks, older quarterbacks. What do you think is like the one thing, the hardest transition that you've seen? Because now these young guys are just getting forced into throw.
Hands down, it's the mental side of this thing, right? It's the mental side of the game that's the hardest for the rookie quarterback. And, I mean, Patrick Mahomes sat for 15 games.
Behind Alex
15
Smith,
games behind Alex Smith. Josh Allen, thrown right in there. And remember what we were saying about Josh Allen, 55% completion percentage, missing all the deep balls. All of a sudden, you put him with Stephon Diggs. There's your deep ball connection. His timing started to get worked out. The rhythm started to get worked out. So I don't think it's a one-size-fits-all for when to play the quarterback position. But I tell you what, you better have a guy who's smart if you're putting him in there at the beginning, because if he can't take it mentally, the emotional side of this will get to these guys too.
We're going to talk plenty more quarterbacks coming up in the next 40 minutes or so. Who is he again, guys? Kuhn. John Kuhn. Man, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it so much. I have a feeling we're going to be hearing a lot more from you in the coming months. We'll talk about that maybe a little bit later. Here we are, the triple option, the throwbacks.
Buckeye out there.
There's one. There's an OH. Coming back,
we got a gator
in the back.
the Draft House presented by Nissan, the throwbacks, the triple option, combining forces for this. We're going to talk about Travis Hunter and the NFL quarterback quandary that some of these programs are going through right now as we lead into the first round of the NFL draft later today. Quick break, we'll be right back. Wendy's has done new frosty flavors before, but never like this. This time, Wendy's is launching a whole new way to frosty, which is now a verb with all new flavors to choose from. It's the classic treat you know and you love, but now with a little something extra. Choose from Wendy's new Frosty Swirl flavors. You see 3 of them right up there. You can get the strawberry, which is closest to me.
Mark already going in.
We got brownie batter. Save it,
good.
Mark. And caramel as well. Whichever you choose, you can make it your own. A refresh on a classic. It has got to be Wendy's. Wendy's, Nissan. Thank you guys so much for having the throwbacks and the triple option back here with you. The Nissan Draft House right outside Lambeau Field. Deuce is digging in. You're going to get that on your microphone
melting,
if you're
bro.
not careful.
Get it quick. Get
We
it.
can't let the Frosty melt. That's just a sin. You know what I mean? Like, we got to make sure the Frosty, everything got to get.
All right, it is time now for Cool Picks presented by Wendy's. Find your new favorite Frosty flavor today with choices like brownie batter, strawberry, and caramel swirl. All right, so we're going to talk about a potential draft pick or a theme that we think is going to be a cool pick later today. Matt, as our resident quarterback, we'll start with you, and let's attack the QB situation.
Yeah, it's. I just talked about it a couple minutes ago. I think it's a very intriguing class because it's not a deep quarterback class. I think you have Cam Ward, and then there's a cluster of quarterbacks there that could go as early as top 10 or into the second round. So something to keep an eye on is Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart, out of Ole Miss, started 3 years at Ole Miss, was fantastic there in the SEC. I was actually looking him up, average about 500 yards rushing every year. Like he's a kid who can run the football, durable, all this. I actually believe he's going to be the second quarterback in the draft.
Wow.
And I think something either we know the Giants, Browns need a quarterback, Steelers need a quarterback. You could even see the Rams at 26 get the next quarterback because Stafford might be done here in a year or two. We've got a Rams fan right here. I think Jackson Dart is going to go in the first round today, whether it's a trade to get up into the late first round or somewhere there, maybe 21 with the Steelers. So
someone in the coaching profession told me they compared him to Joe Burrow-ish a little bit. The same mentality, toughness.
He's confident. He's tough. He's got
to
a little swag to him. He can move. Like
Mark, they love the half, right?
I was ready. I was ready to bet the
2.5.
over. I was ready to bet the over.
2.5?
You went over.
I was ready to. I was ready to bet the
2.5.
over. I was ready to bet the over.
2.5?
You went
2.5.
over, then under,
Now I think-
over, then under.
now I think
you
I'm
back
under.
to under?
You're all over
You
the place.
think only 2 gets in the first round?
I
No
say,
way.
I think 5 quarterbacks
way
to
only
go in
2
the
go in the
first
first
round.
round.
We're not doing bold predictions right now.
I'm just
5
saying, it could
quarterbacks?
happen. It could happen. All right,
There's
so quarterback,
no way only 2 go in the first
quarterback
round.
is going to be a fascinating situation, the Shedeur Sanders and everything, but something you talked about, Mark. This is a draft that is deep at the running back spot.
Yeah, deep at the running back position. I think you're going to get a very high quality running back in the round 2, round 3, round 4, and like one guy who I think is not getting enough respect right now is my boy Cam Scatterboo. Guess who? Cam Scatterboo. Boy. Cam Scatterboo. Guess who? Cam Scatterboo. If you know football and you watch football, this dude is a guy who he does the dirty work. We had John Kuhn up here. You talk about someone, he said that you're going to have to be able to play special teams. This is a guy who can play special teams. He can run the ball. He can catch the ball. He had over 2,300 all-purpose yards, over 600 yards receiving. You know, so
Dude, he ran all over Texas in the playoffs.
He threw a
Like,
touchdown pass.
Yeah.
So you talk about a versatile player, a versatile back who does the dirty work and who kind of sets the tone. You need a tone setter at the running back position. That's him.
That's a dude that a franchise and a fan base
Can
will
rally
throw
behind.
their arms around, right? Like
Oh.
they're chanting Kuhn,
Yeah, yeah.
Scatterboo, Scatterboo. Let's go. Which Frosty did you pick? by the
Brownie
way?
batter.
You went with the brownie batter?
Brownie batter, my dog.
Man, that looks pretty good. Who wants a New York Giants perspective? It doesn't matter because you're going to get it anyways.
I saw one Giants jersey out there. I saw a neighbor's jersey out there.
How do you think the Giants are going to handle this one?
So, kind of off Matt's point, to me, with the Giants, I think it has to be obviously Carter or whatever play. I think you have to leave with Carter and a QB in the first round. I think that has to be. I think you have to trade into that first round. And kind of off what Coach was saying, like it needs to be generational, and I agree with that, but to figure out. And we've seen some players emerge from late first round, mid first round. Russell Wilson, who's now on the Giants, what was he, 4th round pick? Tom Brady, of course. Brock
7th
Purdy.
round?
So, I think if you're the Giants, you need as many bites of the apple as possible. They might have 9 quarterbacks in that quarterback room at one point.
Last 15 drafts, Jerry, the last 15 NFL drafts, The New York Giants have only taken 4 quarterbacks.
Can you name them?
Think about that. I
Name
can.
'em. No. That's a
2013
little trivia.
Wait, in the last how many years?
the last 15 drafts.
15 drafts.
So we'll start in 2013. A young man out of Syracuse.
2013,
Yep.
young man out of Syracuse.
You call yourself a
got
Giant.
me.
Ryan SC, round 4, 110 overall.
Nassib?
Nassib. 5 games,
Forgive me.
9 completions. All right, 2017 from Cal. Davis Webb.
Davis
Webb. Come on,
Round
we're going
3,
like
87.
third string
Played
quarterbacks.
1 game for the Giants, 2 total in the NFL. You're seeing a
Wow.
track record. It's
Yes.
not going great. We go to 2018. I don't even know how to pronounce this guy's last name. Kyle Lavaletta from Richmond.
Wow.
Round 4, 108.
How do you make those mistakes?
2 games played, 0 completions
Wow, this
in
makes
1
me
year in
feel
the
great,
league.
guys. This makes me feel
Wait.
great.
Okay. Then 2019.
Yeah.
I hope you can name this
Daniel
guy.
Jones.
Round 1, number 6.
Yeah,
Daniel
6.
Jones.
Probably could have
How
got
do
him
you-
at
how-
18.
Why don't you give the fans
gentlemen,
a little
thank you.
perspective on your thoughts on Daniel Jones?
Listen, I stayed on the island for
Something
a
we
long
talk
time.
a lot about on throwbacks during the
I
season.
tried really hard, but now you know how that story ends. He's going to absolutely
Of
light
course.
it up at some point
Of
with the
course he
Vikings.
is.
It's just going to happen.
That's where he is currently.
Yeah, he's gonna
How
light
do you
it up.
feel about your quarterback room right now with DeVito, Jameis Winston, and Russell Wilson?
You know, I got
Jay
the pleasure
Boo.
to I got the pleasure to hang out with Tommy DeVito at Super Bowl. I think he's a good guy to have around. Look, I really was excited for the Jameis Winston experiment that was going on. I know Malik Neighbors was probably very excited
Yeah.
because he might have had 1,900 yards at receiver with Jameis throwing it. Kind of to quote Coach here, what are we doing?
What are we doing?
What are we doing? What are we doing?
Coach, somebody that's not named Travis Hunter.
I like Mason. How about the Buckeye ME? I got
Go with the
Mason
Michigan
Graham.
guy.
I'm going to say this, Mark. I think on day one, first game of the season next year, I think Mason Graham will be the most impactful draft pick in this draft playing. Him and possibly your guy, the tight end.
Tyler
Warren.
Yeah.
A defensive tackle. My coaching history, every Sunday I would come in, get ready to play the next team. I'm not watching the quarterback. I'm watching the opposing D-line.
Yep.
If we can handle them, life's good. If we can't handle them,
It could ruin your
that's
day.
a bad week.
Facts.
That's a bad. So I think Mason Graham, what he did the Buckeyes last year in that game, we
He's a
were
stud,
there.
yeah.
He two-gapped. He played with great leverage, great hands. He's a monster. I think he's NFL ready. I think he makes the most impact on the first game of the season in 2020.
He's a safe pick, and he's going anywhere from 5 to like
I saw him at
15,
5, yeah.
which is crazy. Whatever team drafts him is getting a hell of a player.
And he looks like a dude who's going to stay there for a decade plus and be a constant figure. By the way, what's your Wendy's Frosty flavor?
Was it brownie? What do you call
Right
it?
here.
Mine's
Brownie
caramel.
batter.
Mine's,
Brownie
car- mine's
batter.
caramel.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Take a bite.
Strawberry
Take a bite.
swirl.
Well,
guy.
I'll see y'all eating y'all Frosties.
I don't have a spoon.
That's all right. I got some spoons. Hold on. I get to make a pick, too, because
Drink out of like he did.
he's drinking it like a milkshake.
Rob, let's
I
talk
was
a little
trying to-
defense. What do you got for
Well,
us,
Coach
Rob?
didn't go with the Buckeye, so I'm going to go with the Buckeye. Josh Simmons, right? 6'5", 317. He was high round 1 material before
Yes.
he got injured. Probably would have been the first offensive lineman taken. Had that patella injury in mid-October, but he's got the measurables. 2 years at San Diego State, 2 years at The Ohio State. Remember, has some experience at right tackle from his days as an Aztec, moved over to the left tackle side, so he shows that he can be versatile, right? And this is a guy that, again, if he was healthy, you're going to look at the medical reports. But if he was healthy, that's a top 7 type dude, and he's slipping late in round 1. I wonder if somebody says, you know what, let's remember the guy who was a top 10 pick and take him early.
And I've been there. You're going to do the evaluation like you can't imagine on
Right.
that knee. I mean, they are diving into that knee to make sure everything's.
Oh, for sure.
Someone
Good to
could
go.
get a steal with him, Rob.
Yeah,
as
all
you're
right, so
saying.
I got my Frosty, but hold on. Does anybody got some cheese curds out there? We got some cheese curds?
Throw us a cheese curd, please.
Come here. Who's got cheese curds? Bring them onto the stage. Come on. How do we? It's
Where are you
Wisconsin. Like it should be raining
They
cheese
got,
curds.
They got.
We got some cheese curds. Where are
I'll
they?
start telling people to throw
Oh,
things.
my gimmick is not working.
Yeah, we don't need.
No,
don't
we
need
got about 5
we don't
more
need
seconds and I'm
tortillas
done.
thrown
All
at
right.
our face.
Hold the
I'm
cheese
doing-
curds.
I'll eat the cheese curd Frosty a little bit later, but I'm going with the caramel. Sell it for me, Mark.
caramel.
Mark Ingram, sell this caramel Frosty for
no,
me.
look at the caramel dripping off the Frosty. It's just the deliciousness. It's just immaculate. Oh, man. With the brownie batter.
I am a sucker for a Frosty.
Now we just need French fries so I can dip. You know what I mean? Dip.
Well done. Well done. All right, we're going to take a break here from Lambo. We're going to clean up the Frosties off our chins over here. We're going to talk to the guy who's maybe the most fascinating talent in this upcoming NFL draft, the Heisman Trophy winner from Colorado, Mr. Travis Hunter. Where is he going to go? Maybe number 2, maybe number 3. Who knows? We'll talk about that when we return to the Nissan Draft House here. Throwbacks and the triple option in the house here in Green Bay. This is the Triple Option and Throwbacks presented by Nissan, coming your way live from the Draft House here in Green Bay, Wisconsin, Lambo Field. Like, Maddie, you could throw. Man, I don't think you could make it now. Back in the day, maybe a couple hops from
that's
here.
like 100 yards, dude, at least.
You think that's 100 yards?
But you had a cannon.
That's deep.
Rob, that's deep. That's like
deep.
200.
Well, that's how
yeah.
much faith I have in your arm, or I did have in your
Zero
arm.
chance.
Apparently not.
I'm throwing that about 51 yards right now.
Okay.
Which is still pretty good.
Round
51 is
round
you
one
got
from the
51?
NFL
Yeah.
draft today. Tomorrow,
no.
50?
I don't
round
think
2
you
and
got
3.
50.
Saturday,
Oh, for
rounds
sure.
4 and 7. So 257 picks, 7 rounds
about
over
it.
the course of the next couple days, and maybe the most interesting talent in this year's draft. We understand what Cam Ward is, but what Travis Hunter brings to the conversation, 2 different positions, 2 sides of the ball. He's a fascinating talking point for this draft.
And someone we know well. We covered him a bunch on Big Noon. We met him. Remember, he was on set with us in Penn State. I didn't realize how big he is. He's a great kid. He's a grinder. He works at it. He's a clean living guy that takes care of his body. So a couple weeks ago, I came out and said, if I have the number 1 pick, I'm taking Travis Hunter, and I'm playing him both ways. In my almost 40 years I've never seen a guy that can do what he does. His athleticism. Could he be the best corner? I think one of the top 5 corners in the NFL. Yes. Could he be one of the top 5 receivers in the NFL? I think so. Can he do it both? I do. But this was thrown at me just a couple days ago, Matt. He has not played elite competition. He has not. And when Colorado had, they haven't. And that's the whole Shedeur Sanders conversation too. So it was thrown back at me aggressively and said, there's no chance. This is not me saying it. This is a former NFL GM said, do you believe he can go against Denzel Ward, line up for 4 or 5 plays in the series, punt the ball, and then go over and play defense against Marvin Harrison Jr. or whoever? And that's a different, and you guys know it.
Yeah.
That next step from college to the NFL,
Yep.
it's a ridiculous step.
Well, you saw when he tried to do it against McMillan, the receiver from Arizona, he kind of had a tough day. McMillan put up some good numbers that day when they played Colorado. So you are going to have to do that. His mindset, he wants to do it, right? But in my personal opinion, I think he goes on the defense side of the ball. I think he plays cornerback, and I think you have a package on offense. So he can focus on defense but still be impactful on the offensive side of the ball as well. So that's the way I think you're able to handle that situation until he can prove to himself and to the coaching staff that you need more of a workload.
Also, you know how difficult it is, and again, if there's someone that can do it, he continues to prove everybody
He's only
wrong.
done it his
He's
whole
only
life.
done it. So that's why I would bet that he could do it, and he could do it at a high level. But Coach, you know this, the NFL prep the week and defensive coordinators and how much time goes into one game on Sunday. College is a lot, but NFL is no joke, and can you just imagine the D coordinator and the offensive coordinators sharing the prep of a week of going into offensive meetings, defensive meetings, and making sure then you're dialed in on Sunday. And if maybe you miss a coverage or that and you get burned by Tyreek Hill, it is a different game at the next level, play in and play out. So I say, why not? Give it a try. He's a unicorn. He really is. I mean, Shohei Ohtani of football for sure. We've never seen. We talked about it with Charles Woodson. Charles Woodson had packages on offense. He was never, an every down guy. This guy has done that at a high level. And can he do it against the elites? It's a question that remains to be seen.
And the question on top of that, if you do, how long can you sustain it? Reality is the body is going to start to do this shortly, and it's do this much quicker than it did in college, because who you're playing,
snaps. Yeah.
the season is that much longer, and who you're. When I started thinking about, I had some great teams, But week in, week out, what that cat's getting ready to face, I mean, there is no slouches that he's going to be going against.
But don't you think, even if he's not a full-time receiver and it's a package, whether it's 10 plays, 15 plays, he's one of the guys, to me, if I was rooting against him, if I see him on offense, I'm like, he's getting the ball. There's so much gravity is going to be drawn to him if he is on offense, whether he gets the ball or not. And, yeah, maybe that's not something you could do time in, time out, but if he's on the field on offense, you got to assume they're trying to get him the ball. Might be a lot of things you could do off that.
And that's the impact that he has of being on the offensive side of the ball. Because now you have other players
open things up.
Yes.
Can you imagine him doing a 8 or 9 play drive as a wide receiver, and then they punt, kick a field goal, score, comes back, and now he's like, oh, you have to go guard DK Metcalf for 10 plays.
Hey, Cleveland needs all the help.
Tyree, I mean, anybody.
He's not going to be in there for the 9 plays on the drive, though, in my opinion.
Right, but that's the thing. Is like, how much is he going to play on offense, or how much?
Now, how about his quote? How about his quote? What is the quote again?
His quote is saying, if they're not going to let me play both ways, I'm not going to play for you, essentially is what it was.
Which is probably not true, but you got to take him at his word because that guy's going to play football.
I just hate player mandates like that. I mean, you're going to do what.
It didn't feel like a mandate to me. It felt more like, hey, I really want to play both sides. I hope you respect.
I hope
the
you
kid wants to do it.
Is.
He wants to do it, and all he's done it is his whole life.
By the way,
now you're going to the NFL. Like
he's going to go to Cleveland at 2, we think. So who's he playing up in he's going to guard Jamar Chase. T. Higgins.
Yeah, and we're all going to watch it.
DK in Pittsburgh now, and Baltimore.
That's why you got
DK and your other boy Pickens
going deep.
Yep.
Baltimore with Zay Flowers.
I'm all for it. That's popcorn. I want to see.
By the way, I say double down and then add to it. You talk about like he's going to play defense and they're going to punt. Let him return punts too, man. Put that ball in his hand. He is magical.
But like, if I'm the offensive coordinator, he's going to the defensive coordinator room. I'm pissed off. Like, no, he should be coming over here with us. Like, you know,
there's
what I mean?
There's going to be a lot of management.
Right, could that be a problem in the locker room?
It's going to be a problem.
Could
like,
that
no, we
issue?
want him.
I think they'll manage it. I think they understand.
The players won't
right?
care. The players aren't going to care.
It's just
more
make the team better.
Yeah.
If the team is better with him playing both sides of the ball,
the problem's going to be in the coaching staff meeting.
Right.
Like, no, he's coming with us today. No. We need him to do this today. No, he's coming with us today. Right?
And the last battle, and I'll end it with this, his agent. His agent is going to say, let's make sure you are listed as a wide receiver because the pay scale difference between wide receiver and quarterback is 2 different worlds.
Yep.
You want to be paid wide receiver money, not quarterback money.
I want to be paid wide receiver.
I want to be paid punter money. I don't care. I'll take any of that.
I want to be paid wide receiver and quarterback money.
Now you put the 2 together.
Yeah.
Now we're talking something else.
Wide receiver CB. WRCB.
Create a new position.
WRCB.
All right, we're going to make some adventurous picks right now here in front of our live crowd, right in front of Lambeau Field here in Green Bay. Take adventure to new heights in the all-new 2025 Nissan Armada. Go to nissanusa.com/Armada to learn more. There's a great look at the 2025 Nissan Armada there in the front yard here.
Ooh, that thing sick.
Smooth.
By the way, when I say front yard, like this house, this property is literally owned by the Fox affiliate here in Green Bay. Like, it is their house. It's not Mr. and Mrs. Smith's house. The Fox station
is the owner of the house here?
Oh, they rent it out.
Who owns the house here in the crowd? Anybody? The owner here? No.
There's I don't know, man. There's a business model down this block for sure, and they've got it worked out.
Prime real estate.
This is crazy. All right, so here we go. An adventurous pick driven by Nissan. Who wants the first tab on the adventurous pick? Everybody's kind of looking away.
I'll go. Jerry, you want to go?
I want Jerry. I want Jerry.
Look,
bold prediction. Give us a bold prediction.
So I think, we've all talked so much about this draft, and since the Super Bowl ended that Monday, we were talking about the draft, which is great, but it's been a long time. And we've heard kind of about the same players and the same teams and their needs. There's a bunch of teams that have been pretty quiet throughout this whole process, and maybe they're not going to do anything, but if you are looking at those first 5 or 6 picks we've even talked about, if you are a team that believes you are maybe a Warren away from really being I think it's not going to be fully chalk from 1 to 6.
Sure.
And it might not be as simple as, the Giants move back. You might see a really good team, a close team, try to get in and swoop up one of these players that could take them to that next level.
So
I want to piggyback on that real quick because I want to take a poll. I love that thought. So is this a fair list of Tier 1 NFL teams that are this close to a Super Bowl? Detroit?
Yes.
Yeah. Buffalo?
Yes.
Philadelphia?
They just won the Super Bowl.
Kansas City?
They have Patrick
Baltimore.
Mahomes. Yes.
Feels like a tier 1. Tier 2, that are really close, but might need a couple guys. Houston,
Houston is, yeah. Fair.
Rams,
Rams were close last year.
49ers, Washington, all of a
49ers
sudden.
missed the Niners missed their window.
Yeah.
The Niners missed their window to
So
me.
that might
to me.
make things interesting with the draft. Two more. Tampa Bay, close.
Yeah,
Close
that's a great
because
call.
of where they are. And these guys behind
Yeah.
us, Green Bay. These guys with Jordan Love right behind us. So those programs, I think, are feeling, wow, we're really close, and we've got that window. How that manifests itself at the draft.
Have
I
an
think that's
adventure.
interesting.
Be adventurous. Get out there and make some moves.
So-
Driving your
We want
Nissan
action.
Armada, right?
You want to hear my adventurous thing? Talk about draft or talk about trades. I think this is. I'm gonna go out on. I think this is gonna happen tonight.
gotta be quarterback
I think
related.
the Chicago Bears.
Oh.
I've been this.
Yeah.
There we
Boo
go.
him.
Say
I
it
think
louder,
they're
man.
picking the
Say it
Chicago
louder.
Bears are
Throw the
picking.
cheese curds at him.
They're picking 10 tonight.
Yeah.
Okay.
Throw the
think-
cheese curds at him.
Hey man, come on, man. I think they trade up into the top 5. I think they trade with New England at 4
Oh.
to get Genti.
Yeah.
Pair him with Deion. Listen for a second. Ben Johnson, now the new head coach. What did he have in Detroit? He had Sonic and Boom. He had David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. Now you get Ashton Genti, who we love, right? And you get DeAndre Swift, who when healthy is very good. You pair that with Caleb Williams and all those star receivers they have. New England is in rebuild mode. Right now at 4, they're probably going to pick an offensive tackle.
Yep.
They could trade back, get some more. Bears have a lot of capital in the second round as well, so they can make this trade. New England kind of trades back, picks 10. They still get a really good player, and they get more draft picks.
Action.
I think Ashton Genti, I'm telling you, someone's going to trade up to get him potentially.
Okay. That's
my-
a good
that's
one.
my bold prediction.
I like that bold prediction. You want it, Mark?
Come on.
Man. No, I think, man, what's possible? There's a premium on how the quarterback can run, right? And so when you have a generational talent of quarterback who runs the football in Jalen Milroe, I'm thinking like maybe somebody likes the upside of this young kid, and they trade back into the first round and get him in the first round. There's talk about him going second, third round, mid-round, but when you have a quarterback who he'll probably the second best running quarterback in the league right now today after Lamar Jackson. When you have a guy who's that big, that athletic, running that fast, and his upside, you might have some.
That's bold.
It might be appealing to some people, to go up there and get a Jalen Milroe in the first round.
How many quarterbacks do you think?
There's going to be 4, bro.
You think 4?
There's no
So
way it's 2,
Ward,
right?
If there is
You're
4,
going
then
Ward,
you might get him.
You're
in the
going
first.
Dart. You feel those are 1 and 2.
Cam,
Shedeur.
Shedeur,
You think
Dart,
those round 1?
Cam, Shedeur, Dart,
Milroe.
And then it gets interesting.
Shuck,
You're saying Shedeur goes before Dart?
Chuck.
Shuck and Milroe.
I'm just
are
saying
the
the 4
wild
quarterbacks
cards.
going in the first round. I don't know well, we know Cam, but after that, we don't know.
And again, remember, and Coach, you were there. Teams fall in love with a player.
Right.
And you got to have a quarterback. You're not going to succeed at any level in football without a quarterback. And teams are going to get panicky and say, maybe I do like this guy more. Or maybe I've always really liked him, and I'm going to play it quiet. Jerry, play it cool, and then get in there. I like Dart,
quiet.
though, as the number 2 QB.
But the history
And
of
I think he's going to go
QBs,
higher than
even
you
look
think.
at the Super Bowl with Patrick Mahomes, and it's not so much maybe the first round, it's that quarterback that's maybe the late first, early second. I think that something's going to happen. I keep staring at this with the question marks at quarterback, which we all agree. You put these quarterbacks in a QB-heavy draft, where are they in the last couple of years?
Yeah.
I'm saying a team that I'm looking at these 5 teams. You have Titans, Browns, Giants, Patriots, Jaguars. If they are in the mentality they need to rebuild, I say they dump one of those draft picks and go get 4 or 5, try to accumulate talent as opposed to stick all your money and resources into one that's a question mark.
These mugs going to draft the quarterback. That's what I don't care. When's the last time there's been less than 2 quarterbacks in the first round?
Actually, I have that.
Do you have that?
I have that for you.
Do we have that?
Pull it up. 2022. One quarterback was taken in the first round. Anybody know who that is?
2022.
2022.
2 years, 3 years ago.
What pick?
2 gloves.
What pick? Oh, Kenny Pickett.
Kenny Pickett. number 20 overall by Pittsburgh.
Wow.
That's not long ago.
9 total quarterbacks were taken in 2022. Round 7 with pick number 262.
Brock Purdy.
Brock Purdy. That leads to one of my bold predictions. A big name talent is going to get shipped today or tomorrow. Let's go. Brock Purdy, you may be that big name. Myles Garrett.
Dang.
You may be that big name. George Pickens. You may be that big name. Go on.
Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins is the other one.
Kirk Cousins is going to be a part of a trade tonight.
Is
Rob
the other
Schefter.
one. You like
Who is this guy?
Robbie.
goodness.
Robbie Dimes.
I've done my work. Hold on. I have one more bold prediction. Actually, 2 more bold predictions.
Make it 3. 3 more bold
I don't know.
predictions.
I'll have to figure out the other. The 2 teams that are going to walk away from this draft on night 1 as the winners, the New York Giants.
Yep, I agree.
And the Cleveland Browns.
Whoa.
Which leads me to my
History is
final
not on
bold
your side
prediction.
with this one, Rob.
Watch this one. Ready? The Cleveland Browns will walk away with Travis Hunter
And
and Shedeur Sanders and then immediately retire both of their jerseys.
Oh my God!
I think they're going to get both of
Man,
those guys in the first round. How about that? Bringing Colorado to Cleveland. You don't think there'd be some excitement?
That's not that bold of a prediction, though.
Really?
Because Cleveland just traded back up in the first round. That's why they're only.
It's still.
I thought it was pretty bold.
Thank you,
Rob.
Jared.
I thought there was boldness.
I think there's
there.
boldness.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about Shedeur Sanders while we have the opportunity, while we're discussing him. We all like him. He's a talent. Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year. Obviously has pedigree, has DNA. I don't like how kind of some of these negative articles have seeped out the last couple days.
Well, look, I equate it to like having a conversation with my wife about some family drama, and like I don't know what to believe anymore. You've told me this side of the story, this side of the story. Like I trust nothing I hear. Similarly with Shedeur, I am so confused because it's been a full 360. He's going in the top 3. Oh, he's going to slip. Maybe someone's going to take him at 3, and now he's out of the first round. Like, it is so confusing. I've never been more confused about a single player and where he's going to go. And I think it could be all BS at this point.
You know,
I feel
Matt,
like they hate this man for no reason.
right?
Like,
Hey, Matt, we covered Shedeur a lot, and we did a little segment on Big Noon, and there is not this year, the year before, it was almost half the snaps he was spent because his offensive line was so bad.
Yes.
Right, running for his life.
You can't do that at the NFL. You can't. Everyone's too fast, and you'll get hurt.
Yeah.
So what's his pocket presence? Who knows?
He
You
had
cannot say you have great pocket presence because you watch him now. And once again, I was all in on Shedeur because we've seen him. Incredible arm talent, accuracy. But a lot of that, you start back and you sit back and watch it. Wait a minute now. He's on the move, and that's not possible.
Yeah.
And that wasn't his fault.
He was trying to have the weight on his
Survival.
shoulders and be Superman, and he would be running backwards 30 yards and get sacked and take a
And there's
30-yard loss.
they're only
but-
one. I mean, Lamar Jackson is really the only player that can almost kind of sit back and then pick and choose when he wants to run because he's that. And
that's a whole different
And that's a
animal.
whole different.
Yeah.
Shedeur doesn't really. Shedeur's a really fine quarterback. I mean, he's accurate. He's got a good arm. He moves well enough, but he's not an elite athlete in that regard as far as running. Like Cam Ward's an elite athlete. I think he runs and he's closer to the Lamar mold as far as his ability to use his legs. I think Shedeur needs to go to a place where he has to have a lot of guys around him. He has to have a lot of really good players around him. I'm not sure you're going to get that at 2 or 3.
Let me put you on the NFL model. Okay, 1 through 10 arm strength.
Probably like a 7.
Accuracy, 1 through 10.
I think he's like a 10, 9 or 10. He's
Yes.
highly accurate.
Mobility, 1 through 10.
So that one's different for me because Ben Roethlisberger was extremely mobile, but he wasn't fast.
Right.
Shedeur Sanders
Big.
can move around and manipulate the pocket, but he's not fast. So I think his mobility is very good. He's just not going to break away and run for, like, again, I use Lamar. I mean, that's unfair. But Josh Allen is big and fast and can run and use his legs. Shedeur doesn't have that game.
And then you go the football IQ.
I think it's high.
And then leadership quality. Those are the things you're saying, okay.
Other than throwing his line under the bus that one time, I'd say that he has good leadership qualities. Yeah.
First rounder?
Who, first rounder on
Shedeur?
Yes.
Top 15?
Yes.
Wow.
You're torn. I know you are, man.
21 and a half.
You had them
21 and a
yesterday
half
morning.
It's the line, right?
But this is to your point,
21.
21 and a
Steelers.
half, right?
But this is what you're saying. This is the time of the draft, and I went through this as well, where especially the quarterback position, stuff starts to come out because teams want to manipulate. They want to, hey, let's throw a bad art. It's really the shitty part about it, especially with the quarterback who just wants to get drafted.
I've never been more confused about
the smoke
player.
screens. We're all confused, but there's a rhyme and reason to some of these teams that hoping that a kid like that drops to him.
It happens every draft.
Yeah,
we
it
get
happens
2 to
every
3
draft.
weeks out, and there's
But the problem is it's Shedeur Sanders, it's Deion Sanders, it's all of what we've seen from Shedeur in Colorado the last 2 years that have put this big ass light on him, and now he's about to become a professional. So this is.
We'll know the next
Couple
page
hours
of that story tonight. How about some fan questions to take us home here as we're
Yeah.
wrapping up the big show
Wait, first,
presented by
I don't know if you
Nissan.
guys are paying attention out there. How many of you, raise your hand if you think you could get 1 yard in the NFL? You guys are some lying, unrealistic
You're gonna
people.
break your arm, dude.
1 yard.
Unrealistic.
Jerry, the question is on how many carries? 1 carry?
You get one
All right,
play.
Shane, 3 carries, over under 1.5 yards.
Is this-
Raise your hand if you think
this
you're
is-
going over.
Is this net yards? Is this leaving with? Is it gaining 1 yard or is it net yards? Like you have to have the stat line 3 carries for
Do
1
we have
yard.
Kuhn
You have to
blocking
have
for
the-
you?
You have to have 3 carries for over 1
Give
yard.
us a visual of is what offensive line
for 2
fullback?
yards.
From the dude with the glasses and the Aiden Hutchinson jersey says put him in the eye and I'll get it.
That's not the best way to get your yard.
Well, before we get to the fan questions, Coach,
You don't want to run up the middle, dude.
this one's for Coach, and this one is from Jerry from Brooklyn.
First time, long time.
If you had to, if there was a new rule that said you have to play a non-professional 1 snap per game, and I was your non-professional, where would you put me on the field? If I had to play 1 snap in order for your team to be eligible, what would you have me do?
That's easy.
Long snapper.
Yeah.
I'd extend you far right on outside.
And we
and
run the other
someone
way.
would have to cover you. If not, you
Throw
could
you the
fall
ball.
down for 6 yards.
Yeah.
But as far right.
So you wouldn't even have the faith to just be like, you know what, they'd never think we'd do this with Ferrara. Let's give the kid a shot.
no chance. Just stand around.
That's why you're a Hall of Fame
By
coach.
the way, that reminds me. One time, I lined up on the outside as a decoy, and the corner just started laughing. He jammed the shit out of me, dude. I went out there. I was like, dude, I'm just blocking. He just goes, all right. And
Don't
he just
care.
fucking comes, excuse my
All
language.
right, this
He
one,
goes right
this
up in
one
my
is
chest.
from
Just throw an
Jim,
F-bomb.
Yeah, I did. Sorry.
Jim in Wisconsin, who's out there in the crowd. This is for Matt and Mark. And we kind of asked Kuhn this question, but hardest hitting player you ever played against in the NFL? Or you can even go college or NFL.
Ooh.
Hardest hit or hardest hitting player?
Hardest hitting player, whether he hits you or not, the guy that you did not want to get hit by.
Spikes up
I
there.
think and
I
the
was
hardest.
never scared to get hit by somebody, but I was aware of where they were at on the field.
Right, yeah.
So I'd have to say it was Cam Chancellor.
Cam Chancellor, yeah. Legion
He
of
was
Boom.
just coming downhill.
Cam Chancellor, yeah, nasty mug. You hear me? Watch your mouth. He just big, about 6'4", 230-pound safety, black visor sitting in the middle of the Legion
Just
of
waiting,
Boom.
just waiting.
Just you bounce out. Yeah, so, yeah, Cam Chancellor. I had to say, I knew where he was at when we played Seattle.
Matt, who are you getting ready? You're breaking the huddle, and you're like, oh, God, this guy's coming off the edge.
It was Ray Lewis in Baltimore. I was telling Mark I want one of his all-black Ravens jerseys. That was back in the heyday with Ed Reed and Terrell Suggs and all-black, black visor, 52 right from here, like 6 yards. I'm like, and I never got hit by him, but I was like, God damn. But the hardest I ever been hit, James Harrison for Pittsburgh. I was coming out on a bootleg. I went to jump up. He picked me up by my waist, body slammed me. The only time in my career where I stayed out a play, I couldn't get up, dude.
Did he say anything to you after he did
No,
it,
he
or
just
he
went
just
back
let
to
the
the
hit
huddle.
do
I had
the
a back
talking?
contusion, and then the next week I broke my collarbone. So it was a bad week for me.
Matt,
My neck and my back.
Oh, it was.
It's broken.
The trainers came
Spinal.
out. The trainers came out. They're like, "You all right?" I'm like, "Yeah, I just can't move real quick, but give me a second, man." it was rough.
Final.
hardest, real quick, Matt, hardest I've been hit.
Hey, was that week one?
Yeah, it was. I was
No, that was
excited.
Maryland.
It was week
that
one.
was TCU.
TCU.
Coach, we got one for you, and I'm still upset you wouldn't actually give me the rock. All right, Ethan from Minnesota, one of the most overlooked players you ever coached.
Terry McLaurin. Yeah, I mean, he
Great
was the
call.
guy that
Great call. A few Commanders jerseys out there.
the
Great call.
Redskins. Give me the
Scary Terry.
Redskins right there.
Yeah, Terry
Washington
Scary.
Redskins. Terry McLaurin
Terry
was a
McLaurin.
guy that was fast, was a guy that was unrecruited coming out of high school, developed, was our best special teams player. And, people passed and passed and passed. The other one, Corey Lindsley, your starting center. And I got in a big argument with scouts the next year because I'm the best center I've ever had, one of the best, I had Pouncey's. And they said his arms are too short. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he went on to have a great career. Career here. Started as a rookie at Green Bay. Corey Lindsley.
Hey, we want to thank everybody out there
Yes,
for watching
thank
and listening,
you.
but our live crowd, you guys, thank you so much. Love to
We'll
have
be back
you here.
tomorrow.
You're all welcome back tomorrow night. Come on back tomorrow afternoon. We will be live on X, on Facebook, on what else? Where else are we live?
YouTube.
We're live here in person outside of Lambeau Field again, 12 to 1:30 Central Time. The Draft House coming back.
Subscribe.
Day 1 done. Day 2 coming your way.
Tell your mom and
as
them.
always, huge thanks to our incredible sponsors, Nissan and Wendy's, and we will see you again tomorrow at 12 Central.
Wow, is a pro.